Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of tomorrow, Sunday, December 29th, through Saturday to come, January 4th, 2020. Yikes. Okay, so there's nothing on the Islamic calendar we're going to talk about this week. Nothing anymore on the Hebrew calendar because we talked about Hanukkah last week, and Hanukkah is an 8-day celebration that began on the night of the 21st, as all Jewish and Muslim holidays as well begin at sundown the day prior. So began on the 21st. It's an 8-day celebration. Those 8 days will have elapsed by the time this reading goes into effect. So nothing on the Hebrew calendar. We're going to go straight to the Christian calendar, where there are two very important feast days, beginning with January 1st. New Year's Day is the feast day of Mary, Mother of God. And then on the 3rd, the feast day of the most holy name of Jesus. January 3rd, also a very special day for me in connection to this journey and my relationship personally. So in addition to it being the feast day of the most holy name of Jesus. It's funny because so many days that are significant in my personal life are these feast days, you know. Of course, with my birthday being the biggest one, the Our Lady of Fatima. Anyway, for a little bit about what the Feast Day of Mary, Mother of God is about, I have gone to www.franciscanmedia.org. The story of Mary, Mother of God. Mary's divine motherhood broadens the Christmas spotlight. Mary has an important role to play in the incarnation of the second person of the Blessed Trinity. She consents to God's invitation conveyed by the angel, Luke 1:26 through 38. Elizabeth proclaims, quote, "Most blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And how does this happen to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me?" End quote. Luke 1:42 through 43. With emphasis added. Mary's role as Mother of God places her in a unique position in God's redemptive plan. Without naming Mary, Paul asserts that, quote, "God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law," Galatians 4:4. Paul's further statement that, quote, "God sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying out, Abba, Father," end quote. That helps us to realize that Mary is mother to all the brothers and sisters of Jesus. Some theologians also insist that Mary's motherhood of Jesus is an important element in God's creative plan. God's first thought in creating Jesus, the incarnate Word, is the one who could give God perfect love and worship on behalf of all creation. As Jesus was first in God's mind, Mary was second, insofar as she was chosen from all eternity to be his mother. The precise title, Mother of God, goes back to at least the 3rd or 4th century. In the Greek form, Theotokos, God-bearer, it became the touchstone of the church's teaching about the incarnation. The Council of Ephesus in the year 431 insisted that the Holy Fathers were right in calling the Holy Virgin Theotokos. At the end of this particular session, crowds of people marched through the street shouting, quote, "Praise be the Theotokos," end quote. The tradition reaches to our own day. In this chapter on Mary's role in the church, Vatican II's dogmatic constitution on the church calls Mary, quote, "Mother of God," end quote, 12 times. Other themes come together at today's celebration. It is the octave of Christmas. Our remembrance of Mary's divine motherhood injects a further note of Christmas joy. It is a day of prayer for world peace. Mary is the mother of the Prince of Peace. It is the first day of a new year. Mary continues to bring new life to her children, who are also God's children. Now, moving on to January 3rd and the Most Holy Name of Jesus, also from franciscanmedia.org. Although St. Paul might claim credit for promoting devotion to the holy name because Paul wrote in Philippians that God the Father gave Christ Jesus, quote, that name that is above every name, end quote. You can see 2:9. This devotion became popular because of the 12th century Cistercian monks and nuns, but especially through the preaching of Saint Bernardine of Siena, a 15th century Franciscan. Bernardine used devotion to the holy name of Jesus as a way of overcoming bitter and often bloody class struggles and family rivalries or vendettas in Italian city-states. The devotion grew partly because of Franciscan and Dominican preachers. It spread even more widely after the Jesuits began promoting it in the 16th century. In the year 1530, Pope Clement V approved an office of the Holy Name for the Franciscans. In 1721, Pope Innocent XIII extended this feast to the entire church. Jesus died and rose for the sake of all people. No one can trademark or copyright Jesus' name. Jesus is the Son of God and Son of Mary. Everything that exists was created in and through the Son of God. See Colossians 1:15 through 20. The name of Jesus is debased if any Christian uses it as justification for berating non-Christians. Jesus reminds us that because we are all related to him, we are therefore all related to one another. And it's interesting because just this week, Pope Francis had to speak out in this very vein and, let people know that it's not cool to berate non-Christians simply because they are non-Christians, and that it's in the Bible that it's not cool. And then here it is. We just read it. So from that, we'll just move on to the planetary calendar. What's going on there? So we got to do 2019 and 2020. Actually, today, the day I'm recording this, December 28th, is the last event of 2019 as far as the celestial calendar is concerned, or big event that I'm going to talk about at least. At 11:55 p.m., Mercury enters Capricorn. So I did go over that in the general reading for last week. So if you didn't hear about that and you want to know what that's about, check out the general reading for last week. And I think you'll like it anyway. It was a really, really good reading. Like, people were like, "Oh my God, that reading was so powerful." And I agreed. I felt it too. So we go into 2020. That brings us right into 2020. The first day that we're going to talk about is January 2nd at 11:45 p.m. We experienced the first quarter moon in Aries, 12 degrees Aries. And then January 3rd, again, very popular day. So we already have the holy name of Jesus. I already have for me a special significant day. And also on that day, Mars, the red planet, ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio, moves into Sagittarius at 4:37 a.m. 0 degrees 00. So that's pretty interesting too. And that's the last day. So I'll just talk about what it means for Mars to be moving into Sagittarius. And for that, I've gone to www.tarot.com. This is an article that was written and or published, at least, on November 25th, 2019 by the tarot.com staff, entitled Mars in Sagittarius, Eager, Optimistic, and Limitless. Driven and assertive Mars is quite happy in the energetic, fiery sign of Sagittarius. Mars is the planet of action. He represents our initiative and the ways in which we push ahead. And while he moves through the sign of aspiring archer, the sky is the limit. Everything is bigger while Mars moves through Sagittarius. We want more during this transit. We want to reach, to expand, and to explore. We want to go further than we ever have before. When we can't find what we need in our current lives, Mars in Sagittarius steps in to help us to look beyond our present. limitations, and to realize the vast possible. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. The vast possibilities that are available to us. I was thinking this whole time that I was reading any of these things that I might not be able to see because I had to put gel in my eyes, and I should have done it after I recorded the reading, and I did it before. So, I've been like straining a little bit to see some of the words. I didn't expect to mess up because I would sneeze. Anyway, getting back to it. Everything is bigger while Mars moves through Sagittarius. We want more during this transit. We want to reach, to expand, and to explore. We want to go further than we ever have before. When we can't find what we need in our current lives, Mars in Sagittarius steps in to help us to look beyond our present limitations and to realize the vast possibilities that are available to us. Sagittarius, the archer, is optimistic and capable and doesn't see the same boundaries that everyone else sees. While motivated, Mars blazes through this sign. We all get a taste of Sagittarius's expansive way of life. Things shine a little brighter, and we're able to see possibility where we couldn't see any before. Mars in Sagittarius not only has a vision, but also has the drive to turn that vision into something real. We can approach obstacles with optimism and enter new territory with the confidence of someone who's been there before. We may feel less focused on the present moment during this transit, though, because we're paying so much attention to what comes next. There's also a danger of going overboard while Mars is in Sagittarius. We're impulsive and more likely to take risks and may take things way too far if we don't remember moderation. Mars in Sagittarius wants us to take it all in: people, places, feelings, knowledge, beliefs. It's a time to seek the truth, so we can't be closed off. We must remain open because the answers that we need could be anywhere. Learning about different belief systems and philosophies helps us to realize that there is no one right way of living and connecting. I talked about this in the moon reading too. I said people will be coming up with like new faiths, new belief systems, new ideologies, and it's connected to the ascension. So like maybe something that your mind was closed to before. In terms of spirituality, you were more religious, maybe. That's changing for some people, particularly the masculine, I think, a bunch of them. Anyway, getting back to this, the further we reach and the more we seek to know, the more we understand ourselves and the things that happen in our lives. Yeah, that's definitely what I've been seeing for them. Like, getting to know themselves and understand themselves and what they are and who they are on a new level, a deeper level. Some of them had like fallen back to sleep. It's like lapsing into a coma, and now they're waking up. Anyway, there's no better time to travel than during Mars and Sagittarius. But this isn't about a relaxing trip to the beach. It's about finding something that is beyond us. It's about having experiences that expand our minds and hearts and realizing there is so much more to this world than we know. However, traveling far and wide doesn't have to mean leaving the country or even our own hometowns. Cracking open a few books on a new subject, signing up for a new class, or spending time with people from other cultures can help to satisfy this urge to expand and to explore too. It goes on to talk about what it means if you were born with Mars and Sagittarius in your natal chart, and to list some traits. Like people or Mars and Sagittarius traits are expansive, fun-loving, driven, idealistic, and adventurous, impulsive, inspired, honest, and open. So you may find yourself being more this way, whether you were born, this is your natal return for this transit or not. So on that note, we'll get into the dice. We'll begin with romantic dinner, forget it, and cocktail. I'll just show them to you so you can see. Romantic dinner, forget it, cocktail, right? Spirit says, dirty movie. This could be online dating, exchanging pictures, whether, clothed or not. You can just be sharing pictures. Oh, he sent me a pic. She sent me a pic. Meeting people online, communicating, in with online ways like FaceTime or, like WhatsApp, that sort of thing. Dirty movie. And buy shoes, which is pretty straightforward. These could be walking shoes, or these could be shoes for an event, a hot date, with the Two of Cups as an overall energy here, but we'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. And lastly, email. Yeah, I knew I was really feeling strongly. I didn't want to belabor the point, but feeling strongly about that dirty movie, that there was going to be some sort of like online dating or something happening. Now, I'm not surprised by these cards. They very much reflect what we just read about Mars and Sagittarius and some of the other things. So with the Angel Tarot here, begin with an overall energy, the Five of Fire, competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. So this card, can be about just that, conflict, right? And where it is about conflict, to me, the way I read it, and it tends to come through, is if it's not internal conflict, as in one is conflicted, then it tends to be, something going on at work, or conflict with close friends and or family members, including like our mates, maybe that we're not getting along with, our exes, the other parent of our children or child. Now, I thought it was interesting when I was starting the reading before going to that Mars and Sagittarius and checking that out, that sort of mirroring each other with this pile and this pile, the Angel Tarot and the Animal Tarot, they both are like Fives of Fire. This one, of course, is Major Arcana. It is Major Arcana card 14. It's called Balance in this deck, but it's actually Temperance from the traditional tarot, which represents the sign of Sagittarius. So it's like a Five of Fire too, right? 14 equals 5. By merging varying points of view, you can generate an extraordinary new idea, compromise with others, and collaborate to discover a better solution. So right away, this said to me, like couples that weren't getting along, or they had some sort of difficulty, maybe because they have some differences. So I'm speaking about your child or the parent, like, in some cases, one has children, one doesn't, one's older, one's younger, one is one race, one is another, one is one religion, one is another, or culture or background. One is Republican, one is Democrat, whatever the case is, you get the idea. And it's about coming together like the zebra, all right, so fine, you're black, I'm white, but maybe together we can be striped, or we can be gray, or something like that. So it's about, working out differences. And I think it's about fighting for what we want. And for a lot of people, it's going to be specifically fighting for love. Again, we have this overall energy of the Two of Cups here. Two of Cups showed up in the moon reading also. Those of you who didn't see it, it's the Capricorn new moon reading. Very, very good reading too, if I do say so myself. And came up for the masculine, in addition to some other really, really awesome cards. And, it was clear in the general reading that for a bunch of people, although it was the moon reading, that was a relationship reading, that was a love reading. It was a partnership reading. Very, very clear. And I think that these cards for a lot of people are going to be about partnership too. I was moved to pull out a deck that I haven't used in possibly years. And that is, I don't even remember the name of it. Let me get the box. The Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland. And for that, I'm not even sure I remember the book meanings of these cards. But of course, I can read them intuitively. With that, we're starting with this overall energy of card number 21, Embrace. And I do recall that this one is about basically what it says, embrace, but it's about embracing like love, like being open to love, like it's time when love is coming for you, which again is evident by the Two of Cups. It's time, and you should be open to it and stop fighting it, and maybe fight for it instead. And also upright, right behind that is this 7. I think this may be like a 7 of cups kind of card. I think the green borders may be the cups cards, but I don't really remember. In any case, it's called Daydreams and Decisions, as you can see, and it is about like it encourages us to like dare to dream, right? It encourages us to daydream and to picture ourselves in these happy relationships and stuff. Because again, this is the psychic tarot for the heart. So these cards tend to have a spin attached to love. As a matter of fact, I think I'll read this one from the book for you so you can get the full magnitude of the meaning. Because the ones with the black borders are considered like their major arcana cards. So yeah, I'm moved to do that. All right, I've picked up the book, and the way that I did it, I can both pages kind of open. So maybe I'm meant to read both of them. All right, so this is Embrace. Again, card number 21. Key words associated to this card: achieve, welcome, appreciate, dreams. So maybe I am meant to read both, right? Dreams. This is about daydreams and decisions. Wholeness and contentment. Something before I forget. Something else about dreams. Well, maybe I will come back to it, but I'll point it out a little bit first here. So we have major arcana card, the moon here in reverse, which represents the sign of Pisces, and the planet Neptune, which is all about dreams, right? They all come from that sector. And it's sitting here opposite the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And for me, the Page of Pentacles is most likely, if it's an actual person, a Virgo. And Pisces and Virgo are actually mirror signs, and they're opposite. So I have something that in my mind when I looked at this spread too about that. So we'll get back to that in a second. Keep the dreams and stuff in mind. And talking about embrace. When it comes to love, the universe is smiling upon you at this time. Energies are moving and shifting, coming together to give you exactly what you need and want. Your efforts to clarify your heart's desires to be present in current relationships. That was one of the things. So that in the Virgo bi-weekly reading, I only did bi-weekly readings for the earth signs. And they go through the 29th. The Virgo one, I said a lot of them weren't being present. A lot of them were spending time thinking about their past relationships or maybe some future situation, but not what they had going on, which is fine. Like if you're interested in actually having your past relationship, then go for it. If you're interested in being with someone else in the future or doing something else, a different job or whatever, then go for it. Start working on that. But if you want to preserve and save what it is you have going on at present, then you're going to need to focus on that, like focus your attentions. And so, I'll come back to it a little bit more in a second. So yeah, this card says, your efforts to clarify your heart's desires to be present in current relationships and to actively manifest new relationships are now bearing fruit. In this moment, you are in a position to achieve all that you have dreamed of regarding matters of the heart. Your dreams are ready to manifest. And then boom, the dreams are right behind it. So yeah, let me tell you what that says, or tell us, because I don't know either. When this card appears, it often means that there's a certain amount of confusion and uncertainty regarding your love life. What is that you really desire? What would you like to change or to attract? You have many options in front of you if you will only see them. Do some daydreaming about possible futures. Have fun. It's through your fantasies and imagination that you transform your desires into reality. So yeah, I had a feeling it would say it a little bit eloquently than I would from what I was seeing, but these cards definitely tie into these cards that are here. They're trying to convey the same message. With my Ascendant Masters deck, I'm beginning with see the other person's point of view. And I think this definitely has to do with partnerships and with working out situations. This is the general reading, so they don't all have to be romantic. This could be familial situations, something going on at the job, or with friends, whatever. But if you're going to resolve issues, it's important to see the other person's point of view. Sometimes I think that that's going to be coming into play because some of us presume when there is a problem with somebody, or if we feel like we're not being treated the way we want to be treated, we're not getting enough attention or whatever. It's because we're only focused on how we feel and ourselves. And so we're not necessarily seeing like, well, why is the other person behaving this way? And sometimes you, like after the fact, you learn, like why somebody hadn't been answering your calls or whatever. Like they're like, oh, well, my dad died. My mom, this crazy thing happened to me. I lost my home in a fire. And you're like, then you feel like crap. You feel like an asshole that you were like, focusing on you, like, oh, I was mad that they didn't call me and they had something much more serious going on. So for some people, that's the kind of thing that see the other person's point of view means. It like find out what's wrong or be open to it not being about you, right? Whatever the difficulty between you is. And look forward to, again, fixing these situations one way or another, whether that means mending relationships, like where you want to mend relationships, or walking away from relationships to find your peace of mind and your happiness where you want and need to do that. The power of joy. Also, trust is coming up. And this showed up in the moon reading in a big way too, particularly for the feminine, is a need to trust and have faith. Twos are about faith. The number 2 is about faith also. Also upright behind that is yes with Ganesh. And that means yes, Lord Ganesha will be knocking down obstacles for you. It can also be a yes to a yes or no question that you are pondering. Now look at all these upright cards. The flow of prosperity and Lakshmi. So this is about abundance coming in. Crystals. You could use crystals for your healing. I had been moved with the Gemini full moon to wear metal. And I put on a lot of my jewelry again and encourage others to put on metal. Right now, we may want to, use some green crystals to be connected to the earth energy. Some of the green ones are my favorite. Like I love serpentine and Alexandrite is very pretty. Actually, that's purple. That's not the one I was thinking about. Goodness, what's the one for August? Alexandrite is purple. It's a green stone. It's for August. I can't think of the name. Anyway, look up August birthstone. I guess birthstone, green. Right? And this is coming up with the moon. We saw email, right, with the dice. This could be connected to the fact that, again, yesterday, Mercury moved into Capricorn, where the sun also is and where the new moon just was. So that may be guiding us to write or to communicate. And lastly, persistence. Like, don't give up. And that's what I was saying I was feeling here. Fighting for what we want, whatever that means, So like I said, for some, it's definitely going to be about relationships and romantic relationships at that, but not for everybody. It is still the general reading. It's not the love reading. And so other stuff will come up. All right, so I just want to go over some focuses specific to each element, with this one representing fire, earth, air, and water. Again, water gets the best card. So first, again, the Two of Cups is often about romantic relationships and partnerships, but that's not the only thing that's about. It is also about faith. Well, twos in general are about faith and also about balance, which I'm going to point out again that we have a card here called balance, which is actually temperance, a very healing energy. And also I like to call it a holding energy. I feel it's restorative, like where we were lacking, where we felt we lost something, possibly here with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, possibly lost something, maybe monetary or something that means something to us, something valuable. this week it could be restored with the energy of temperance. It's like temperance is about recovery, restoration, restitution, like all of that. So the Two of Cups, again, I just want to speak about that one because it's for everybody. So things should be going well. If we had difficulty in relationships, the Two of Cups showing up says that there's still an opportunity, a chance to fix even relationships where there'd been trouble, difficulty, turmoil, fight. Even if we broke up, like people can get back together. And maybe you're being guided to fight for your relationships, fight for your partnerships, and rather than just letting somebody walk away from you. When it comes to work, you are appreciated in your workplace. You know, they are happy to have you there. And if you are looking for a new job or you're interested in looking for a new job, it can say it's a good time for you and that you very likely find something soon. I want to point out that the moon in reverse, this card here that is for the fire signs, for their work, the moon in reverse can mean like you are not sure where you stand at work. So let this, I was going to not be a reminder, but let this, the Two of Cups tell you that where you stand at work is, you're in a good place. But if you don't feel comfortable, if something comes up and you don't feel like you know what you're doing, if you can't ask somebody, if there's any way possible to, like let something go, move on to something else, where you do feel confident, you do feel comfortable, and to leave things alone, like where you're unsure, if you can't ask and get clarity from somewhere or someone, wherever you can, leave the situation alone, whether it's work, your love life, like if you don't confront your partner in a confrontational way, if you don't have information, particularly if you don't have information, you're not clear, like you're just making a presumption or whatever, bad time to do that. You could end up really causing damage to a relationship if you just like pop off and stuff. In terms of finances with the Two of Cups, like separate and apart from work, again, it indicates that there's like balance in finances. You may not be rich, but you ain't broke. You know what I mean? There's a song about the area in the Bronx where I'm from, where my people are from. My father's whole family, we're all from Soundview, right? And so those of you who watch what's that show, Love and Hip Hop, Peter Guns, he's from Soundview, and he had this song called Deja Vu. And one of the lines in there is like, not filthy rich, but bitch, I'm barely broke. And that's what the Two of Cups is about in relation to finances. Like, you're all right. So even with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, like this can mean for the air signs, I know I'm skipping around, you may be in a mood to like gamble, maybe take a risk, maybe because you feel like you're low and you're like, well, maybe I'll take a chance and try to win some money somewhere. And that's cool. You can do it. But again, it has to be in balance. So you're only guided against it if you have like a gambling problem, because it needs to be in moderation. Everything needs to be in balance this week. It's very important. In health, and this can be spiritual health too, particularly I would say for these two placements, so the fire and the earth, where you have the moon and you have the high priestess, with the Two of Cups, it can mean that you need to find balance and a healthy partnership as it relates to a healer. So like, for example, looking at this Empress, somebody could be pregnant here among the water signs, maybe. And you need to find like the right GYN, OBGYN, or midwife or doula or something, that is befitting of you. You need to find the right birthing center, or, if you're high risk, you need to find the right hospital, somebody that could handle your your problem quickly if necessary, if you had to be rushed there, somebody with a good trauma center or something. You got to find the appropriate healer. And then again, it could have to do with ascension and spirituality too, and maybe you need to get with somebody who can give you some sort of counseling, or an energy healer, a Reiki practitioner, a massage therapist, an acupuncturist, or somebody who can work with you in terms of teaching and learning metaphysics. It's about partnerships in every area of your life, health and or balance, right? Healthy and balanced situations and partnerships, couplings. So let's move on specifically to the elements, again, beginning with the moon reversed for you fire signs. So you could be just feeling upside down, really, particularly in terms of psychic and or intuitive energy. But at the same time, you're in one of these really heightened phases, like more than usual. You've got a lot of psychic energy circling around you, and a lot of thoughts that are probably trying to get in, but like you could be confused. You're misinterpreting them. You don't understand, or at least you think you've misinterpreted, like you're not sure if you're reading the signs correctly. So you're just like all over the place, and you're confused in every area of your life potentially when the moon is in reverse. So like I said, you might not know where you stand at work. You might not know where you stand in your relationships. You might think you know something about your partner, but you really don't. And if you go off, you're at risk of damaging your relationship because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's like, all those things. In terms of finance, you might not even know where you stand there. And it's probably time to make sure that, your checkbook is balanced in a very literal sense. But at the same time, looking at these cards, I wouldn't panic. Again, we're doing okay when the Two of Cups is the overall energy. I think that's all I want to say about that card. So moving on to the High Priestess. High Priestess, a very sexual card, right? She's like very, very attractive to a lot of people. Similar to the Empress. Somebody, if you've got both of these, if you've got like the earth and water going for you in your chart, or if you're an earth sign dealing with a water sign or vice versa, this is hot and steamy and very, very sexual potentially. Maybe that's why Dirty Movie is popping up. But both people would have a lot of, potential suitors, people being extremely attractive to you. But again, to focus on the High Priestess, especially when she's upright, then, not only is she attractive, she knows it. When the High Priestess is in reverse, sometimes she can be very self-conscious and lacking of confidence, and even suffer from some like body dysmorphia and stuff, like or dysmorphia in general. Like, I'm not, like, even at work, like, I'm no good. I'm not, so it's sitting here next to, again, the moon in reverse, for example. Maybe some people have both earth and fire. And so you could be feeling like, nobody likes me here at the job. I'm not doing well. And again, that's like, couldn't be further from the truth. But with it upright, you're pretty confident about yourself. Similar to this Temperance card, however, the High Priestess in terms of love and relationships can be about people with differences. And even in this card, you see the two pillars, Boaz and Joaquin. One is black and one is white, right? They're different. And that can be the same thing as I was describing before with Temperance that can occur with the High Priestess. So people can just have a lot of differences with whatever belief systems or their physicality. And it doesn't matter when these other energies pop up. Like, this is a week to figure out how we can still come together despite those differences. Additionally, the High Priestess, like the those with the Moon card, is extremely intuitive, and just getting a lot of messages. And she doesn't move forward until she listens to those messages, and she uses every possible piece of information that she can. So she's smart, right? So she uses her intellect, her own wisdom, things she's learned from experience throughout her life, her intuition, things maybe she's heard. She's not saying she's going to go off on rumors and stuff, but she's going to take into consideration stuff, word on the street, like her streets, everything that she could possibly use before she makes a decision and makes a move. And when she decides to make a decision and make a move, she's not necessarily going to tell anybody what she's doing either. The High Priestess is a real G. So she moves in silence. And speaking of her being a G, she is a Gemini for me, or in the tarot also sometimes a water sign. So I think that there could be some connections here with potentially earth and air. Maybe like, for example, Taurus, Gemini, Cuspian, or people with both in their chart. Or again, Virgo, with the Page of Pentacles here, is ruled by Mercury along with Gemini. And then we've got this water here, so people could have combinations, water and air, water and fire, or dealing with a person from that element. So let's go into, again, the Page of Pentacles. I started to talk about him already. He's the kind of person, well, if it's an actual person, you may have somebody feeling upside down, and maybe because they don't know what to do, maybe because they are younger than you, maybe because they're a page, right? And so they're younger than you, and it's here crossing the High Priestess. He's got this older, sexy woman, that he's super attracted to. He doesn't know what to do with himself, how he can possibly make the relationship work. What do I have to offer to her? But these cards show up to say, like, you can have a healthy relationship if that's what you really want. But like what two souls God has joined together, let no man tear asunder, including the people themselves, right? Including you. There's a way to figure out how to make it work out if it's meant to work out, especially, right? But yeah, there could be an actual Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, right? This is that earth sector right here that is feeling turned upside down for whatever area of his life. If it's money, you feel like you lost something, or you did physically lose something. Again, we have cards that show that there's recovery this week. Love, any kind of abundance, we show that it's coming back, or it'll be replaced by some new prosperity, right? According to the cards. So other than that, you may be feeling sort of risky in your relationships. You may be feeling sort of bored, and you got to be careful. Like, it's a good time to think about if you want your partnership. Same thing, similar to what I told Virgos in their private, their reading for their sign specifically. If you want your partnership, then you may want to do what you need to do to preserve it, because, it could be about a wandering eye. And again, crossing the High Priestess, either your eye could be wandering, or people's, you could be very attractive and, considering taking somebody up on that offer. So just think about what you have to lose. Page of Pentacles in reverse, like losing that coin. Think of what you have potentially to lose should you pursue, one of these other potential options. And, thereby cheating on whatever it is or whoever it is that you're with. So like, if you're cheating on a job, a friendship, a romantic partnership, think about what you have to lose by doing that. Also, I'm being moved to tell you, air signs, that in terms of health, when the Page of Pentacles in reverse, you could hurt yourself playing. And that could be physically, that could be emotionally. So again, with this wandering eye or whatever, you could be playing, like playing the field or being a player, and hurt yourself if you get busted, if you do the wrong thing and you lose something or someone that's valuable to you. Or in a physical sense, one time my children's dad, my ex-husband, I live in a Manhattan apartment. This man was in here doing cartwheels and backflips and whatnot and broke his toe. It's like that, like playing around and being silly. You could get hurt this week. So be mindful of that kind of stuff too. So that's the air signs. Water. You guys lucked out again. The Empress is like the epitome of femininity, right? There's only one Empress. There's 4 queens. There's only one Empress. She is watery, but not representative of the water signs. Although again, she's here like crossing the moon and stuff. So I'm feeling getting a lot of cross energy interaction and stuff. She is representative of the planet Venus, ruler of the signs of Libra, Taurus, and Gemini. Right, Venus, the esoteric ruler of Gemini, similar to how Mars is a ruler of Scorpio. She's about abundance. She's about creation. She's about fertility. She could be literally about fertility, and you could be learning that you are pregnant, or, the woman that you're with is pregnant, or you could be literally giving birth this week, or she could be giving birth this week. And I talked about this in one of the other readings. I guess maybe the Capricorn moon reading, I talked about possibly learning that you're specifically pregnant with a boy or giving birth to a boy this week, in which case they would be, or this week or next week, in which case they would, of course, be a Capricorn as well. So the earth. And that could be, again, another reason why it's sitting here under the earth. But in terms of money, partnerships, like manifesting anything, especially if you're going to be an active co-creator in the situation, this is your week, water signs, to do that. Whatever it is you're trying to manifest, you can absolutely do it. And then we just heard further support of that because of the Mars in Sagittarius transit, that it's a perfect time for manifestation. So you guys are going to be on fire. Let me do one other spread now. If I think of anything else to say about these, I will, though, because but I felt like I said a lot already, and that I had a lot to say, so that's why I want to kind of move on, because I'm sure this is long enough already, but I don't want to not do these cards. I just feel like I'm meant to. Are we good? Let's do this. Is that better? Yes. So again, our overall energy is balance, or actually it is temperance, which represents the sign of Sagittarius. Crowning the masculine this week. Ooh, Major Arcana card 16, life experience. The Tower. Important changes are coming into your life that will require you to take action. Don't hesitate to move in new directions that you know are right for you. And this can literally be about movement. For me, the tower can be about an actual tower, a structure, a home or something. And you could be moving. If not, it can be about coming into some sort of clarity, like we talked about in the last spread, have revelations, epiphanies, a new understanding, particularly spiritual. Again, I feel for the masculine. Everybody's going through this ascension phase. It's a big one, like, those we've experienced in some past years, 2010, 2012, 2015. There were some big ones. I think 2019 is going to go out with a bang again with one of those big ones, and right into 2020. And then it's been happening already. So for a lot of people, that's what it is. But some event, possibly something that sweeps you off your feet. And just because it's a tower doesn't mean it's negative. It could be positive. And if it's based on the cards from the last spread thus far, I'd say it is positive. So let's keep going. Surrounding the masculine. Look, boom, the 9 of summer. So that can be what knocks you off your feet. The fact that something that you've been praying for or holding a focus intention on, something that you've been manifesting, finally comes to you. Man, wouldn't that bowl you over? Wouldn't that knock you off your feet? Now's the time when your dreams come true. So here comes this dreams again. We've been talking about dreams since the last spread. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. Masculine subconscious. Major Arcana card 13, release or death, which represents the sign of Scorpio, which is again ruled by Mars, which moves into Sagittarius this week. So maybe that's why this is showing up. It's time to release the past and to move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. So letting go of maybe a time when we didn't have that which we've prayed for, releasing that. So now we're welcoming a time when we do have this thing in our lives, or this person in our lives. Crowning the feminine. The Four of Spring. This too can be about a home or something, and it's here mirroring the Tower. A home, a new home, home purchase, home sale, home decorating, renovation, just feeling at home, right? Home is where the heart is, being with somebody you love, commitments, marriage even, engagement, meeting somebody new and just feeling amazing. Yes, because, just really overjoyed to be around them. A job, anything where you're just feeling super, super content and happy. This is what the Four of Spring or Four of Wands represents. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. Surrounding the feminine, the Seven of Autumn, the planning, resources, and efforts that you've invested in your dream. Here goes his dreams again. And it's mirroring the Nine of Summer, or Nine of Cups, which is about dreams coming true. So that's kind of cool. It's going to reap great rewards. All these things that you've been focused on, these dreams you've been focused on, these goals, you're successfully manifesting them. In the meantime, until you have it there in your hand in a tangible way, have patience and meditate on your next steps. Like I said, the High Priestess does, right? She thinks about everything and considers everything before she takes her next step. Feminine subconscious, Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor, represents the planet Mars, which moves into Sagittarius this week. And it's another Four of Fire. So the feminine is crowned by a Four of Fire and rooted in a Four of Fire, a much stronger one, but a Four of Fire nonetheless, because this represents the planet Mars. And for you, it could further, again, represent, coming into contact with some sort of government agency, maybe being married by a justice of the peace. Or, again, a home sale, home purchase, inheritance. So some sort of, large organization or government agency or something, large corporation is, involved with you with some sort of estate situation. This can be representative for me of a married man or a man with children, an older man, somebody that's established, somebody that's stable. And maybe that's why you're happy, or that's what you've manifested. A lot of possibilities with this, perhaps specifically connected to an Aries or a Scorpio. Crowning. The Queen of Autumn, which I think also was crowning in my moon reading, which would make sense because it was the Capricorn moon reading. I'm not positive if that's where it was. In any case, the Queen of Autumn is a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. She is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person, because this too is about manifesting. And how do you manifest things that are positive that you want in your life? By positive thoughts, by sending out positive energy. It comes back to you. At the root or foundation, the Queen of Summer or Cups. She is compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. Also, she is a Scorpio, sitting here next to Death and next to the Emperor, right? So Mars and Pluto, both rulers of Scorpio. Compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. This is the time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful that you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. So make sure that even in your decisions, and maybe your decisions as a parent or as a father, you could be a feminine and be a male, be a father too. Or maybe in relation to your husband or your father or the man with whom you're dealing, father of your children. Don't make your decisions based only on their needs. Make sure to nurture yourself too. And that's something that goes for you as well. I was just, talking about what these two cards meant together. But we're all guided to remember to consider ourselves in our decisions and in the nurturing and care that we're giving to other people throughout the week. Give some to yourself too. At the heart of the matter, Major Arcana card 7, the Chariot. You can successfully balance various or opposing energies at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition that you're seeking. Major Arcana card 7, the Chariot, can be about travel. It can be about moving. Again, there could definitely be some masculine and feminine cohabitating, moving in together. Again, getting engaged, getting married. Maybe that's why you're living together, having children together this week. Forming families and maybe even moving into a new home. You bought your first home together, or you rented your first apartment together, or something like that. Moving. And the Tower having to do with a home, the Four of Wands having to do with a home. Or this can be about travel, visiting one another. The Chariot is also a major card of victory, so successfully having manifested. Again, it's in between these two cards about manifestation. Or metaphoric movement forward in a positive direction. So again, this Tower, not bad at all. Don't look at the Tower when it pops out and feed it negative energy, because that's how you manifest negativity into your own life. By, remaining optimistic and positive, I was sure that positive cards could show up here, and look, boom, there they are. Let's further clarify with we just saw this one. There's two here too. It's another Emperor. Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor, yet again. Organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. So father energy or leader energy, boss, somebody got a promotion. Maybe that's why the Four of Wands is about. You got your own company. That's why you're having to deal with a large corporation or a government agency. That could be why that's coming up. Just taking back control of your own life and your own destiny, a master of your own destiny. You're manifesting your reality. That can be why there's so much Emperor energy showing up. And that would be particular for the feminine. But, maybe this is extended to the masculine too, because it just popped out. So I'm going to put this here. That's for everybody. And the other card is the Dreamer, with Archangel Metatron. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, that leads to unexpected opportunities. Well, in this deck, first of all, the Dreamer, Major Arcana card 0, is the Fool in the traditional tarot. So this is all about a leap of faith. But in this deck in particular, this card has always felt to me like Mercury. And the same way I can't explain what it means for something to feel like fire or to feel like any other, the wacky stuff I say, I can't explain what it means to feel like Mercury, but it does. Again, Mercury is the ruler of the signs of Gemini and Virgo. So one of them could be particularly, or both, particularly significant this week. And Mercury did just on the 28th, yesterday, move into, or is that today? Whatever. Today, Saturday, move into Capricorn. Mercury, the communication planet. So in that case, this was the overall energy. For somebody, the Three of Air wants to be seen. So I think this is a past situation though. So we're guided to let go of this, right? Great sadness, take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. But again, we have an overall energy of temperance. So this is recovery. This is getting this energy back and being made whole. This is the first card. It's going to go here. There we go. Somebody could show up at your home too. Somebody could travel to your home, maybe unexpectedly. Feminine, maybe even to the masculine, surprising him. If not showing up at your home, but maybe contacting you out of the blue, you're not expecting it. Something, maybe that's what you've been praying for and you're manifesting it. Something like that. But yes, I could see somebody even ringing your doorbell, showing up on your doorstep, and they've traveled to you. Even if it's just local travel, you weren't expecting it and you sort of bowled over. with joy, with happiness. Anyway, atop the tower for the masculine is another Queen of Earth. So we got one here and we got one sitting right next to it. Queen of Earth, Queen of Autumn, thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach and deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. We can work out our differences this week. The Queen of Earth is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. This can also be sitting atop the tower, something having to do with finances or work. Amazing out of the blue that happens to the masculine, right? That he is overwhelmed with opportunity or something, with abundance. Perhaps that he prayed for with the Nine of Cups sitting here. Atop the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Earth. So maybe he was making slow and steady progress and now boom, it's here. It's like it's here. It's for real. The Knight of Earth is loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. It's time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. Knight of Earth, same thing as the Queen, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, someone likened to those traits or attributes. Slow and steady progress toward the win. Again, the Chariot sits here. It's a card of victory toward the win. A top major arcana card, release or death. The Seven of Air. Plans that need revision. More going on than meets the eye. Poor timing. Somebody could be guided to let go of their feelings of lack of confidence or distrust, either in themselves or another person. Seven of Air, particularly in this placement for the masculine of subconscious, is, Seven of Air for me is, I call it my card of joy stealing. And we can steal our own joy by lacking confidence. Because when you lack confidence, you avoid opportunities and you miss chances. And so you potentially steal your own joy. Or as it relates to relationships, Seven of Air can come up when there is distrust or when one person maybe is considering going back to another person. But they're still dealing with some sort of issue. So they're not really ready to go back to the person. It's a joy steal. You guided to let go of those kind of energies. If you're the High Priestess or you're the Empress, there's reason for you to be super confident this week, for example. To let go of any feelings of low self-esteem or anything. Or fear of pursuing your goals. Atop the Four of Wands, the Nine of Air, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights, and it's mirroring this Seven of Air. So the feminine also at risk of stealing her own joy, because if you're putting out negative energy, that's what you have the potential to manifest. We're trying to manifest positive things, happiness, Four of Wands. Atop the Seven of Autumn, Seven of Pentacles, is the Four of Pentacles. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, and giving to those less fortunate. Atop the Seven of Earth, which is about patience, I think that the feminine is at risk of being too pushy in any given area of her life, and maybe specifically as it relates to relationships and trying to rush things. And that's a chasing energy, and you will chase the person away. You will push them away. So you want to be mindful of that, careful of that. Atop the Emperor is the Seven of Fire. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. Well, if anybody can stand their ground, it is the Emperor, right? That's, again, it's about taking control of your life, your destiny, and not letting anybody push you around, change your mind, change your decisions for you. You only change them if you decide you want to. Crowning atop the other Queen of Autumn, it is another release or death. Again, death represents the sign of Scorpio. It's the end of a phase or situation. Yeah, I think it's an end of a phase of broke, an end of a phase of lack, an end of a phase of, the inability to share with another. and to be compassionate and to work things out. For some, it could be specifically an end of a relationship, and maybe specifically with an earth sign. But maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's what you've been praying for. A way out. Atop the Queen of Summer, the 9 of Fire. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. So whatever you've created, somebody could be considering abortion even. And I usually don't get into stuff like that, but I just got that. And maybe you're deciding trying to decide what you should do. Don't let anybody change your mind for you. Change your decision. You have your right to choose, certainly. But the way it's coming through is that guidance is suggested, like don't. You've created this thing, and don't, this person, nothing. You might not want to give it up. It's like something created out of love. And that may be for one person that needs to hear that. I'm not even sure where that came from. Because again, like I said, I don't usually like to talk about stuff like that. But again, it's about sticking to your decisions and your rights, and you don't let anybody push you around. This can also be about relationships that you created and the need to protect them, or situations that you've created for yourself and not letting anybody else come in and impede upon them. You got to protect that and protect what you want, right? Nurture yourself. And at the heart of the matter, atop Major Arcana card, the Chariot, is, Major Arcana card 15, Ego, or the Devil. Well, for one thing, the Devil represents the sign of Capricorn, and we have all this Capricorn energy surrounding us. It sits here atop the Chariot, which represents the sign of Cancer. Cancer and Capricorn are mirror signs. Cancer is currently the true node. Capricorn is currently the south node. Jupiter. Is that this week? I think Jupiter at the beginning of the week. Beginning of January. Will be in opposition to the true node and like sitting next to Capricorn. I talked about this in the moon reading. So these are one things. Also, this is about lacking the confidence. So it's crossing this 7 of air. So maybe specifically for the masculine, or more so for the masculine, lacking the confidence to move on, lacking the confidence to like grab your victory and run, like, hey, to move on. So you really got to work on your feelings about yourself this week, and give yourself some sort of pick me up, and not try to make a move until you're feeling better. Because again, if you go with those, like if you're speaking negative words over yourself or thinking negative about yourself and your situations or whatever, you have we have the potential of manifesting that into your life. So these are like opposing energies here. On a more positive note, there could also be something about, water signs again and earth signs coming together, as we saw in the other spread. And like this talks about, right, these opposing energies managing to come together in a healthy way. Further to that, let's see what else comes up. More clarity with this. From the psychic tarot of the heart to the masculine, seek the truth. It's another 7. We got several 7s on the table. I think this is like a 7 of swords also. Seek the truth. Again, like we saw with the moon in reverse, all may not be as it seems or as it appears to you, as it feels to you. So make sure, you are, as best that you can, tapping into your intuition, using your intuition to make determinations about and discern like what's real, what's fake, particularly in your relationships. And it may be necessary for you to not necessarily allowed, but at least to yourself, to try to figure things out. Question somebody's motives. Again, if there's distrust, maybe again, if somebody wants to return into your life that you already let go of before, maybe that was the decision you already released them and they're trying to come back. Question what the motives are to yourself, go over it in your head, and then discern. And then whatever you've decided, whatever you've created, don't let anybody impede upon it and mess that up. Be cautious. That's what I'm going to say about this card. Be cautious. For the feminine, from that same deck, base chakra, also known as the root chakra. This is like from the spine, down to the small of your back, basically. And what's funny is it is connected to the earth element and rooted. Okay, it's also called the root chakra, rooted in earthly issues, earthly matters, like our physical body. So exercise, which came up in the moon reading also, for example. Of course, money, finances, work, home, right? Shelter, all of these things. And maybe being out with nature, with the earth, if you live in an area that's at all conducive to doing that, can help you to keep this chakra open and healthy and balanced this week. From the Ascendant Master deck to the masculine, clear and shield your energy. I was feeling something like that here with this distrust and the need to, like I said, question motives. Like, what is that about? Asking yourself, what is that about? This is telling you to do the same thing. Clear and shield your energy. And also, I'm going to connect this to what I was feeling before in the first spread, where I said, I think particularly as it relates to ascension, somebody may need a spiritual counselor or an energy healer or a Reiki master or all those things that I listed. Yeah. So now this hopefully is like reconfirmation for you, masculine. And if you are at all feeling like you need any of those things, that you look into them. From the Ascendant Master deck to the feminine, freedom. And I think this moon is helping to set people free, right? This Capricorn moon we just experienced with this moon showing up here. But I think this speaks for itself, right? It's pretty straightforward. Freedom, whatever that means for you. Freedom, again, of choice. Freedom of religion, right? You can be as religious or as spiritual or none of the above as you choose. Any inalienable rights, freedom to live as you want. You're in control. You're the emperor of your own, domain, empire. From the from the Angel Tarot to the masculine, it's another Empress. Like, we're just repeating card after card after card. And again, a lot for some of us, these readings or this reading, even though it's the general reading, is very, very relationship oriented. Now we have two emperors and two empresses at the table. Lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. Again, the Empress is about fertility, fertile energy, co-creation, creation, abundance, growth, expansion, right? You get big, you get pregnant with something, you get big. It's growth, expansion, prosperity. manifestation. For the feminine, the Ace of Fire, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement. Change your life now. And lastly, from the Animal Tarot to the masculine, it is another dreamer. I don't know how many repeats we had today. There's been so many. Right? 2 deaths, 2 emperors, 2 empresses, 2 dream fools. Wow. Okay. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. Masculine, you're walking a brand new path. You never walked this path before. Maybe that's why there's some fear for some of you. The devil tells us there's fear. The 7 of Swords tells us there's fear for some. But you know, you got this. It's a brand new path. It's going to be amazing. Take the leap. Again, 2s are about faith. Have faith. Just get out there and do what your intuition is guiding you to do. And lastly, for the feminine. Okay, I can't believe this. It's a 3rd Empress. It's a 3rd Empress. It's time to hop into action. Use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success in your life. Some females here are definitely pregnant that are watching this video. Others, if you're interested in getting pregnant, it's sure a good week to do so. We had this Empress and the Empress from each of the other tarot decks that I use, the Angel Tarot and the Animal Tarot. So there's super, super fertile energy here. If you've been having ideas, you've been pregnant with ideas, pregnant with thoughts, pregnant with, you know, epiphanies, clarity, bring those things to life. You have the opportunity, big time. You, especially feminine, have the opportunity to bring those things to life this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the weekly general reading. I will be back with the love reading. If you are interested in your own personal reading or energy healing, or merchandise, or, you know, any and everything that I offer, including friendship, the information on how to achieve any and all of that will be in the description box below the video. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do consider hitting both the subscribe button and the bell button so you get your notifications, and liking the video before you leave. Namaste.